Hello there and a very good evening. You're watching Primetime News coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. For Newsfirst, where the people come first, I am Rochelle Tumoda. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for tonight.
Special 10-day exposition of the sacred tooth relic to commence on the 18th of April. 3 more suspects arrested in connection with the abduction and assault of journalist Keith Noyar. Fuel distribution continues as usual. CPC issues red light to fuel stations violating agreements. Smart street lighting project results in 2 billion rupee loss to Colombo Municipal Council. Threats to investigating official. Revelation made in Copa. Met Department issues advisory for severe lightning and heavy rainfall. UK Prime Minister voices support during meeting with Zelensky.
On to your top story for tonight. Viyavadana Pradeep Nilangadala says that the special exposition of sacred tooth relic will commence on the 18th of April. He made this announcement at a special media briefing this evening. The Viyavadana said that the general public may view the sacred tooth relic at the Sri Dalada Maligava in Kandy over a period of 10 days starting from the 18th of April to the 28th of April.
අවුරුදු 16කට පසුව දළදා දැක්ම පවත්වන්න දින නියම කරගනු ලැබුවා.
A decision was made to hold this special exposition of the sacred tooth relic after 16 years. The President visited Kandy today and held a meeting with all state officials and institutions to discuss details on organizing this viewing. He also extended his full support to this program. The special exposition of the sacred tooth relic will commence on the 18th of April at 3 p.m, where all devotees are welcome to pay homage to the revered relic. From the 18th onwards, the general public may view the sacred tooth relic for a period of 10 days, between 12 noon and 5:30 p.m. daily. We request devotees to be very respectful within these sacred grounds and to support this program to the best of their ability.
වන්දනාමාන කරන්න ඉඩ අවස්ථාව සලසා දෙන හැටියටත් මේ සියලු සංවිධාන කටයුතු වලට සහාය දක්වන හැටියටත් ඉතා ගෞරවයෙන් ඉල්ලා හිටිනවා.
A meeting to discuss details of the special exposition of the sacred tooth relic was held in Kandy today, led by President Anurukumara Disanayaka. The meeting was also attended by the Anunayaka Theros, the Malbatu and Askiri chapters, as well as the Mahasangha.
We have a lot of experience from the past. When the exposition is close to an end, more crowds may come. We can hold discussions at that point and decide if we should extend the period granted for public viewing of the tooth relic. Viewing the sacred tooth relic is akin to witnessing Lord Buddha in person. In my 70+ years of life, I cannot recall a single instance where the President personally participated in a program like this. We are truly pleased and extend our heartfelt blessings to you.
ආරක්ෂාව ගැන අපිට සාතික වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකට හේතුව අපි ඒ කාලෙට මෙතන තියෙන ආරක්ෂාවට වඩා අපි ආරක්ෂාව වැඩි කරනවා.
නිකම් දළදා හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේ දැක්මකට ඇවිල්ලා යන්නේක නෙවෙයි. රට තුල යලි අපිට උරුම ශිෂ්ටත්වය.
This will not be a mere public exposition of the sacred tooth relic. The aim of this is to revive culture, morals, ethics and discipline in our citizens. This is supposed to be our first step to achieving that goal. Although our society seems orderly and civilized from outside, there is a considerable amount of concerns and issues that need to be solved. We need to restore those ethics and morals in society. This is a good opportunity for us to revive religion in the country. This will be an extension of the new year. Thereafter, we have Vesak. We believe this initiative will help transform our society.
ඊට පස්සේ අපිට වෙසක් වෙනවා මෙහෙම එනවනේ. ඒකට අපිට මේක මේ සම්බන්ධ කරන සමාජයේම වෙන පරිවර්තනයකට ගෙනියන්න පුළුවන් වේවි කියලා අපි හිතනවා මේක හොඳ කරගත්තොත් නේද?
සාදු දලදා සමිඳු පුදන්නට මේවර අපි නුවර යමු. සාමය මල් රටට පිපෙන්නට දලදා සමිඳුට බාර වෙමු. මේ අදහස ගත්තොත් මේක තඳ
This is a good opportunity to make a change in the people's attitudes. We should make this a chance to revive our country through religion.
අවස්ථාව එනිසා මේ අවස්ථාව මේ වර්ෂයේ හැබෑවටම රටේ පවතින තත්ත්වය ප්‍රබුද්ධතාවය ආගමික ආකල්ප වලින් සමලංකృత රටක් ගොඩනගන්න අපි මේ
3 more suspects were arrested this morning by officers of the Criminal Investigation Department in connection with the abduction and assault of journalist Keith Noyar.
The suspects were formerly attached to the Army Intelligence Unit and were arrested in Navagathegama and Eliyapattuwa. The Criminal Investigation Department is conducting further investigations into the incident. Do you remember the abduction incident of Keith Noah? On the 22nd of May 2008, journalist Keith Noah was assaulted after being abducted in a van in the Vaidya Road area of the Dehiwala Police Division. In 2008, while serving as the associate editor of the Nation newspaper, Keith Noah published a series of articles under the pseudonym Senpati, addressing the weakness within the government and military. According to Keith Noah's statement to the Criminal Investigation Department at the time, he highlighted the weakness of the Minister of Defence, the Secretary of Defence as well as the military and police forces. His statement further mentioned that a few days after the publication of these articles, he became aware of a military jeep that was tailing him while he was on his way to the University of Colombo. Later that night, on the 22nd of May 2008, a group of armed individuals arrived in a white van, broke into his house, blindfolded him and assaulted him. They abducted him as he arrived near his home with two media colleagues after dinner. When Keith's wife came out of the house after seeing her husband's vehicle had arrived, she noticed that the door of the vehicle had been left open with the engine still running and Keith Noah was not around. She then informed Keith's media colleagues about the situation. Alarmed by Keith's abduction, his media colleagues contacted a government minister at the time to inform him about the incident. Following this, the minister alerted the highest political authorities responsible for the country's security as well as other relevant officials. It was later revealed that during the abduction, Keith Noah was being severely assaulted. In his statement, Keith Noah mentioned that after being taken into a certain location, his clothes were ripped off and he was brutally assaulted. After being severely attacked by his abductors, he was hospitalized for treatment and subsequently fled the country seeking protection for his life.
A foreign travel ban has been imposed on former IGP Deshabandhu Thennakoon following a request made by the police to the Mathura magistrate.
A warrant was issued 2 days ago for the arrest of former IGP Deshabandhu Thennakoon in connection with the shooting incident near a hotel in Talana, Mathura on December 31st, 2023. The court has ordered the arrest of 8 suspects, including Deshabandhu Thennakoon and Colombo Crime Division OIC Anselm De Silva, on charges of conspiring to commit murder.
Minister Dr. Nalinda Jathisil says that the government will not alter its decisions on fuel and that distributors can negotiate with the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation for a reasonable commission.
What is the root cause of this fuel crisis? The issue stems from the abolition of the 3% discount previously granted for fuel distributors and the introduction of a new pricing formula implemented yesterday. The National Audit Office had flagged the additional 3% received by distributors as illegal, a claim later upheld by the court. Annually, this system redirected over 35 billion rupees, funds that should have gone through the treasury for public services like health and education to fewer than 1,000 fuel distributors. When attempts were made to remove this unfair discount, distributors challenged the decision in court. However, the Supreme Court dismissed their petition. The Ceylon Petroleum Corporation asserts that this decisive action was necessary to put an end to an unfair system where public funds benefited a small group of businessmen. Meanwhile, recent statements by fuel distributors demanding the continuation of this additional payment have caused temporary panic, leading to excessive short-term demand. Is there really a fuel crisis in the country? Newsfirst correspondents visited several fuel distribution points across the island today and also inspected fuel storage terminals in various locations. One of the key locations is the Kolonava terminal of the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation. Despite it being a Sunday, fuel distribution took place as usual today. Fuel was distributed smoothly without any queues in the Colombo district, with people confirming that fuel supplies were plentiful at the stations.
තෙල් ඕන තරම් තියෙනවා. පිටරට දෙන්න තෙල් තියෙනවා.
රටක් නෙමෙයිනේ ගත්තේ ගිනිගොඩක් ගත්තේ අවුරුදු 75ක් කාපු රටක්. ගතියෝද හොලම් පියවර තමයි ජනාධිපතිතුමා ගත්තේ. 100% කොමිෂන් එක යන්නේ ඒක ජාතික අපරාධයක්. මේ හොරා කරපු එක දැන් තමයි එළිය එන්නේ.
There were no queues or fuel shortages at fuel stations outside Colombo either. These are the comments made by people at the Kurunegala main filling station today.
මේවා ඉතින් අර සත්‍යක සැරයක් නිවුස් මවා ගන්න ඕන නැත්නම් ලංකාවේ ආතල් එක නැන් මිනිස්සු මේවා නිකන් බොරු කතා. පෙරේදා රාත්‍රී ඒ පැතිල ගිය මහා බොරුව නිසා අපේ අතේ තිබ්බ සල්ලි වලට අපි පෙට්‍රල් ගහුවා. මොන අරමුණකින් කරත් ඒක නරක වැඩක්. වැරදි වැඩක්.
ඊයේ කලබලේ තෙල් ගහගත්තු මිනිස්සු රත්තරන් බඩුත් උගස් තියලා. සමහරු ණයට මුදල් අරන්. පොලියට අරන් තෙල් ගහගෙන.
ජනාධිපතිතුමාගෙන් ඉල්ලන්නේ මේ ආණ්ඩුවෙන් ඉල්ලන්නේ මේ ගන්න තීන්දුව ආපහු රිවර්ස් කරන්න එපා. මොකද මේ රට හදන්න නම් නීති හරියට ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙන්න ඕනේ.
There were no fuel shortages or queues in Novarelia. Fuel distribution continued as usual today from the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation's bulk oil depot in Anuradhapura.
පෙට්‍රල් ඩීසල් යාම් තෙල් ඕවා තුනම තියෙනවා ඕන තරම්. වෙනද වගේම සාමාන්‍ය කොළඹින් එනේවත් මේට එනවා බාන්න අපිත් පටවලා යාපනය යනවා යනවා සාමාන්‍ය තෙල් ටික යනවා.
No queues were observed at fuel stations in the Galle district either. There was no fuel issue in the Gampha and Vaunia districts. People were seen going about their daily activities as usual. What caused the fuel queues in certain areas the night before last? There is no reason for fuel shortage in the country. The main cause of the shortage was the propaganda spread through voice cuts yesterday, claiming a fuel shortage would occur. This led to public panic, prompting more fuel distribution. The individuals who issued these statements, Attanayaka and Shanta Silva, had already brought fuel from Kolonnawa and Trincomalee and distributed it. Yet they continued making statements that caused unnecessary concerns among the public. Is the rumor about a potential fuel crisis accurate? There are claims that fuel will run out by Monday, but we have received more than 1,581 orders. This is more than enough to meet Monday's requirements, and we also have issued enough fuel for Tuesday. Therefore, there is no need for the public to panic. Are you prepared to engage in discussions with distributors? If our distributors have any concerns, we have given them the opportunity to meet with us for discussions, not tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow. What is the fuel distributors' response? The chairman has instructed us to attend a discussion next Tuesday at 9 a.m. Accordingly, we will participate in the meeting. What's the government's stance? We are committed to serving the people of this country. When the public stands to benefit it, it is wrong for fuel distributors to disrupt this process, especially since there is no fuel shortage. We also urge the Fuel Distributors Association to address any concerns with the government rather than causing unnecessary discomfort for the public. We believe the long-standing commission should not be used as a reason to burden the people, particularly with rising fuel prices. The court had already ordered this change, but the previous cabinet failed to implement it. Many of these fuel distribution sheds are owned by individuals, including ministers and MPs who sometimes secure their posts through these arrangements. The people are well aware of who owns these sheds in their towns and villages, which ties into a political interest. The public lost 35 billion rupees under the previous system, yet ministers remained silent due to the commissions they received. The government stands firmly with the people and will not reverse its decision. Distributors are welcome to discuss a fair commission with the Petroleum Corporation.
A major issue that arises during investigations into fraud and corruption is whether politicians and officials truly cooperate with these investigations. However, some officials, risking even their lives, are dedicated to combating corruption and protecting public property and funds. Recently, a female official revealed a wealth of information to the Committee on Public Accounts regarding a project that caused a loss of 2 billion rupees to the Colombo Municipal Council, even amidst facing life-threatening risks.
case file.
It was revealed at the Parliamentary Committee on Public Accounts that the Colombo Municipal Council incurred a loss of 2.45 billion rupees due to the Smart Street Lighting project. During the previous administration, the project was initiated as a cost-free venture.
කොළඹ නගරයේ තියෙන වීථි ලාම්පු 12000ක් ස්මාර්ට් ලාම්පු වලට කන්වර්ට් කරන්න ඒ ස්මාර්ට් ෆීචර්ස් තියෙන ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් ව්‍යාපෘතියක් විදිහට තමයි කැඳෙන්නේ.
वो स्मार्ट स्ट्रीट लाइट කියන ව්‍යාපෘතිය මා නිරීක්ෂණය කරා එම ගිවිසුම නගර සභා ආඥා.
I observed that this smart street lighting project violated the municipal council's ordinance. Therefore, I informed the council that the provisions of this project needed to be amended as the agreement had no legal validity. According to the agreement, the CMC agrees to pay the relevant company 1,478 million rupees as annual maintenance fees. A report that had been issued by the former municipal treasurer, who was there before I took my position, is what helped us detect that the Colombo Municipal Council incurred a loss of 2.45 billion rupees through this initiative. It is the Colombo Municipal Council that was supposed to fix the pole and the bulb of these street lights. We were also supposed to place all the underground cables. We were supposed to purchase the light bulbs as well. The CMC has a sub-constitution on advertising and decorations. This agreement, being signed, had violated this sub-constitution. This company put forward a proposal for an 80 million rupee payment to be made to the CMC by them to be exempted. I did not let that happen. There were certain milestones that were supposed to be reached in this project. However, none of them were fulfilled. With none of their responsibilities being fulfilled, they still kept requesting permission for other matters. Through this agreement, the exclusive right to these electric poles had been given to this company. That meant they could earn through advertisements. There was also another clause in the agreement which stated that no other party could issue advertisements either. I legally argued against this and even wrote to the council that the sovereignty of the CMC cannot be violated by an agreement with a company. There were such issues. This 2.45 billion rupee loss is evident in all these documents with all details mentioned clearly. We wouldn't have incurred such a loss if the CMC itself independently was responsible for this lighting system. Secondly, when I rejected the company's proposal to waive off the 80 million rupee payment to the CMC, representatives of this company came to my office for a meeting. There they threatened that if I do not give my approval, they would make sure that Colombo would be in a complete blackout by that night. This is a threat to national security. That is when I got to know that this company had the switch controlling lighting of the Colombo city. I informed the Ministry of Defence and all relevant authorities about this. The officials of the Colombo Municipal Council need to be in charge of security of this region.
සභාවේ නිලධාරීන් සතුවේ තියෙන්න ඕනේ.
දැන් ඒක එහෙමද නැද්ද කියලා විතරක් දැනට අපිට කිව්වා දැනට නගර සභාව සතුව තියෙනවා. කවද ඉඳලාද? ඒ දවස්වල ඉඳලම නගර සභාව සතුව තියෙනවා. දැන් අර ආයතනයක් ඒ වගේ ප්‍රකාශ කරන්නේ ඇයි නිකන් බොරුවටද නැත්නම් ඒ වෙලාවේ අරගෙන වෙලා ඒ තියෙන
පවුල් කරාට හරි දැනට
කොළඹ නගරේ එහෙම පද්ධතියක් නැහැ. තනි ස්විච් එකකින් ඕෆ් කරන්න පුළුවන් පද්ධතියක් නැහැ. ඒ කතාව මම බැහැර කරනවා.
මම හිතන්නේ රෝහණ මහත්මයා දැනුවත් නැතුව
Maybe Mr. Rohana is not aware that under this Richardson project, the Gaul Road, Duplication Road, Janadipati Mavatha and the stretch near the President's office were under this company's control. That was my concern. The President of the country frequents that area. He cannot reject my statement. I take full responsibility for what I said. This official had to even leave the company because of this incident. I issued letters of demand. Then they filed a case against me, claiming that I was obstructing this project. Secondly, they attempted to display LED advertising boards right in front of the President's office. According to the sub-constitution that I mentioned earlier, there are two clauses that no advertisements can be displayed along the Janadipati Mavatha and Nidhas Mavatha. This company had requested approval to display advertisements around the Golf-Face Green and near the President's office. The council had agreed to this. It is all there in the agreements. What the company said was that I was not granting permission for the display of advertisements around the Golf-Face Green, although it was agreed to in the agreement signed. As an attorney at law myself, I let them know that this agreement was violating the law and that this raised a threat to national security. They attempted to establish signal posts there. It is a high sensitive security zone.
එතකොට එහෙම නීතිමය ප්‍රතිපාදනයක් තියෙද්දි සභාව කොහොමද අනුමත කරන්නේ?
ඒක ගරු සභාපතිතුමා සභාවක සම්මත කරලා තිබුණා ඒ කිවිසුම.
The Colombo Municipal Council had already signed this agreement. I informed in writing that certain clauses were violating the laws. Our municipal treasurer knows very well about this loss. In the midst of all these threats to our safety, she stood alongside me the whole time, maintaining our stance. She even had filed a case regarding threats to her life, and she told me that it is still ongoing. There is something else that I must state openly here. I personally conducted a very confidential investigation into this matter. Approval has been granted through an email, not formally, for a business deal involving billions of rupees. I went to the TRCSL and Dialogue personally as the commissioner and got the relevant documents. The report has been created with a counterfeit signature. No one else is aware of this. I told Mr. Ashoka about this. When I went overseas, I personally met Sudesh Rohita who signed this. I also got this confirmed through the government analyst. This signature was a counterfeit one sent through email. To this very day, they are profiting from it. This is a brand new revelation. And no one else knows about this yet.
තමයි මේ සමාගමට අනුමැතිය දීලා තියෙන්නේ. ඔවුන් අදටත් ලාභය උපයනවා. ඒ පිළිබඳව විශේෂයෙන් කරන්න කවුරක්වත් දන්නේ නැති කාරණාව.
එකක් යම් ආකාරයක අත්සංග හෝ මොන හරි කූටලේඛන සකස් කරලා තියෙනවා නම් අපේ එක
If such counterfeit documents were formed, we need to go beyond audit investigations. We will also have to investigate the statements that were made by these officials today. We need to investigate the level of control that these companies had on data systems, electricity systems and their technological involvement. We need to conduct an investigation from a defense point of view. Going beyond the statements made today, I think both these cases should be handed over to the CID for further investigations.
ක්ෂණයක් කරගන්න වෙයි. ඒ නිසා මම මේ කියන්නේ මේ කාරණා දෙකම CID එකට බාර දිය යුතුයි කියන එක.
Case 5. Newsfirst with the people.
The Department of Meteorology has issued an advisory for thunder showers in several provinces. Thunder showers accompanied by severe lightning are likely to occur at several places in western, central, Sabaragamuwa and southern provinces and in the Monaragana district. Temporarily strong winds may also accompany the thunder showers in these areas.
One lane of the Valimanda-Nuvarelia main road has been blocked due to a landslide near Rainbapula junction following heavy showers last night. Meanwhile, a landslide in Kartalava in Uvaparnagama affected a row of estate line houses, causing damage to one home. However, no residents were injured. A landslide in Demetavalla Badula has completely blocked the road leading to the Demetaval Hinne village this morning. The landslide has also caused damage to two houses in the area. Heavy showers in Dehiatikandi, Ampara have inundated several cultivated lands that were about to be harvested. The opening of the sluice gates of the Babagiri Reservoir in Hambantota has submerged approximately 200 acres of paddy fields in Arabadda that were near harvest. Meanwhile, heavy rains affecting the Polonnaruwa district for the past 5 days have led to the destruction of many crops in the Gidithale business cultivated during the Maha season. Meanwhile, around 200 acres of paddy fields in Arunapura, Arunagalmila, located in the Mahavalley B zone of the Polonnaruwa district, have also been inundated due to heavy rainfall. 8 sluice gates of the Rajanganir Reservoir have been opened due to the ongoing adverse weather. The irrigation engineer in charge of the reservoir confirmed that the released water will flow into the Elewan Kulama Reservoir via the Kala Oya. Additionally, the sluice gates of Nachaduwa Reservoir have been opened due to heavy showers in the upper catchment areas. The Department of Irrigation announced that the water released will be directed into the Malvatu Oya. Due to recent adverse weather, the Hurulu River has been overflowing since yesterday. The irrigation engineer in charge of the reservoir confirmed that 513 cubic feet of water per second will be released to the Yanoya. Meanwhile, the opening of the spill gates of the Galoya has caused the water levels in the Kaudula reservoir to rise. As a result, 2 of its 12 spill gates have been opened by 9 inches each. A capacity of 500 cubic feet of water per second will be released into the Kahambilia Oya. Due to heavy showers in the upper catchment areas, Nuwara River in Anuradhapura is currently overflowing. A capacity of 780 cubic feet of water per second is being released into the Malvathuaya.
A person was injured after police opened fire at a tipper truck that defied orders in Valvadithure, Jaffna.
Police said that a search operation was launched by the Point Pedro police this morning at the Kate Junction, Point Pedro, following information received regarding a tipper truck transporting cannabis. The truck travelling from Kodikamam to Point Pedro was signalled to stop at a roadblock but failed to comply. Our Newsfirst correspondents said the driver attempted to evade the police by swerving onto a sandy path. The police said that the vehicle was eventually halted by gunfire in the Valivaduthure area. However, the driver and his associate managed to flee carrying several black carriers. Upon inspecting the vehicle, officers discovered cannabis scattered in the front section where the suspects had been seated. The police later took the tipper truck into custody. Meanwhile, authorities received information that a gunshot victim had been admitted to the Mandigai hospital for treatment. Investigations confirmed that he was the associate of the tipper truck driver. The suspect, a 19-year-old resident of Dharmapuram, is now under police custody while receiving treatment at the Mandigai hospital. Preliminary investigations have also revealed that the suspects were transporting sand without a permit. Police are continuing efforts to locate the fugitive driver.
Project Smiles, a community service project by ISAC organization in collaboration with Diri Daru Piasa organization, was held at the University of Colombo today.
ISAC, in collaboration with Diri Daru Piasa, conducted their Project Smiles community service project at the University of Colombo earlier today.
Kids with special needs practice performances and they do art crafts. So what we are doing here is we are selling the arts and crafts that they make so they could earn some money for their day-to-day and educational activities.
The project focuses on bringing positive change to the children at Diri Daru Piasa, a sanctuary for children with Down syndrome.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer greeted President Volodymyr Zelensky with a warm embrace on Saturday after the Ukrainian leader flew to London for talks following his clash at the White House with US President Donald Trump.
In London, a crowd cheered as Zelensky arrived for talks with Starmer at his Downing Street office before a summit of European leaders that the Ukrainian president will attend on Sunday to discuss a peace plan for Ukraine.
Well, let me just say that you're very, very welcome here in Downing Street. As you heard from the cheers on the street outside, you have full backing across the United Kingdom. And we stand with you, with Ukraine, for as long as it may take. And I hope you've heard some of that cheering in the street. That is the people of the United Kingdom coming out to demonstrate how much they support you, how much they support Ukraine, and our absolute determination to stand with you, unwavering determination.
I saw a lot of people, and I want to thank you, people of the United Kingdom, such big support from the very beginning of this war. Thank you, your team, and I'm very happy that His Majesty the King accepted my meeting tomorrow, and I'm thankful that you organized such a great summit for tomorrow, and we are very happy in Ukraine that we have such strategic partners.
Zelensky and Prime Minister Keir Starmer also signed a $2.26 billion loan for Ukraine military supplies that will be repaid using profits from frozen Russian assets. The Prime Minister will host a summit of European and Canadian leaders in London later as part of efforts to bring the Russia-Ukraine war to an end. Zelensky is then due to meet King Charles.
Pro-Ukraine protests have taken place across the US after Donald Trump and J.D. Vance's angry exchange with Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House.
Freedom for Ukraine! Freedom for Ukraine! Freedom for Ukraine!
Hundreds of people gathered in New York, Los Angeles and Boston to express their support for Ukraine after a furious row in the Oval Office. In extraordinary scenes in the Oval Office on Friday, Trump clashed with the Ukrainian president, telling him to make a deal with Russia or quote-unquote, "we are out." A protest in Waitsfield, Vermont against the Trump-Vance administration had been organized earlier this week before the US president and vice president's clash with Zelensky, but many signs reference the row and Russia's war with Ukraine.
The 95th Battle of the Maroons annual encounter between Ananda and Nalanda colleges in Colombo ended in a draw today. However, Nalanda College emerged victorious in the first innings of the contest.
The historic 95th Battle of the Maroons between Ananda College and Nalanda College took place at the SSC grounds in Colombo, marking the first time the encounter was played as a three-day match. Ananda College batting first declared their first innings at 324 for 6 with a standout performance from Dinida Athalage, who scored a remarkable 131 runs. In response, Nalanda College began their innings strongly and by the start of the final day had reached 58 runs for no loss, with skipper Sadav Samarasinghe contributing 40 runs. Nalanda went on to post 325 runs for the fall of 6 wickets before declaring, led by an outstanding 111-run knock from Nadal Jailath. Sharada Jairatna was the pick of the bowlers for Ananda, claiming 4 wickets. In their second innings, Ananda College won 27 runs for the fall of 1 wicket when play was halted. Best batsman was Nadal Jailath of Nalanda College. Best bowler was Sharada Jairatna of Ananda College. Best wicketkeeper, Thisara Devnadu of Nalanda College. Best all-rounder and man of the match, Dinida Athalage of Ananda College. The 95th Battle of the Maroons was officially sponsored by the MTV and NBC Media Network.
Tonight's Happy Headlines brings to you the exciting efforts driving a surge in tourism in the country. Driving your own vehicle through the streets of another country and traveling to new places is pure joy. Old but gold, a saying that never gets old. Today in Colombo, this saying came to life as vintage vehicles took to the streets, proving their timeless charm. About a century ago, these vehicles roamed in countries like Belgium, Australia, America and England. The rally concluded today after travelling around Sri Lanka for 1,600 kilometers over 14 days. From Waikal to Anuradhapura, Trincomalee, Sigiriya, Kandy, Norelia, Ohiya, Galle and Yala, these old classics made their mark across the island. And this initiative has brought in over $50,000 in foreign income. This is just one example of how unique tourism experiences can drive growth for our nation. Headlines. And that's a wrap of Primetime News for tonight. Thank you for joining us. Good night.